Hello and good day. Welcome to the Super Good Camping Podcast. My name is Pamela.
I'm Tim.
And we are from supergoodcamping.com. We're here because we are on a mission to inspire other people to get outside and enjoy camping adventures, such as we have as a family. Today's guest is a gentleman we've had the pleasure to chat with multiple times on the podcast, on Canoe Hound's Adventure Show, and in person at the Toronto Outdoor Adventure Show. He does wonderful presentations at the adventure shows, and he's already booking some for next year, like the Hamilton Adventure Expo. He's a canoeing enthusiast and lover of all things camping, plus the author of 20 books. Please welcome Kevin Callan, a.k.a. The Happy Camper.
Hey, how you doing?
Welcome. Hey, welcome. Welcome back.
Yeah, it's good to see you. We saw each other at the Toronto show. You probably were there at the Hamilton show, but I didn't see anybody. So I was like, oh, it was so busy.
We saw you. You didn't see us.
We saw you. Great presentation. But that show was nuts. So many people showed up for it, which is why they're already pre-booking presenters. They're going to be double the size, 2 days, all that sort of jazz this year, which is fantastic. I think that's wonderful.
And the best part of that entire show was my daughter's going to university in Hamilton, so she went there with her friends, and I knew that she would, and so I did a mini montage of her on a canoe trip when she was 5, going across the Algonquin Park and talking about dragonflies having sex and stuff. And her roommates, and she's like, "I'll kill you, Dad."
That's the fun stuff when your kids get old enough to be able to take that.
Embarrass the crap out of them.
Well, of all fathers out there, just agree or disagree. That's my job.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. You bet. So recently, I know, again, because we've had conversations over the years, I know you've been working on a book for ages. Like, I don't know, 2 years, 3 years. It feels like forever. Tell us what the book is. Then tell us the story of the concept, the kernel of an idea, to all the fun of self-publishing.
Yeah.
How do we get here for a spark of courage?
All right, there it is. There, I just got it in the mail yesterday. Fantastic, like incredible.
Super awesome.
Yeah, and what happened? I like that. Where is it? This is good. Oh, there. Look at. Okay, so there, and then if you look at the bear pooping in the ice, you look really closely. He's reading my top 70 canoe route book.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
And also, if you look at the characters, let me get to it. If you look at the where are the characters? Oh, wait a minute. Oh, Angel, stop drinking water while I'm on. Oh, she slurped. All right, here are the characters. They're the animal characters that help, right? And try to identify who's who of all my camp buddies. So who's Andy? Who's Tim and who's Sweetoman?
I would say Andy is the bear.
Yep. So who would be the smart fox? That'd be Tim. It's not actually for sure. I'm telling you that right now. Who's the hyper nuthead? And that's the squirrel. That's actually No. So what was the question? So how this come to be? So what happened is Cliff McArdle was expiring illustrator, worked on TV, doing a bunch of things and stuff like that, and a big canoeist, loved monogamy, loved canoeing. And randomly, he just sent me a character of myself, and I went, "Why?" And he was just doing it for fun. He did one of Jim Baird, he did one of Adam Schultz, and a bunch of other people. I went, "This is funny," and he had it on his Instagram. So I went, "What's with this?" Well, this is what I do on my side. Like I do illustrations for a living for TV and stuff like that. But I love canoeing and thought I would do this. I went, "Oh, well, that's funny. That looks like me." Yeah. And then during the conversation, because I actually called him up and I said, "This is great." And so what's your crystal ball, what you want to do in life? And one idea was he wanted to always write a kid's book about going off on a canoe trip, and actually how going off into nature helps cure anxiety. And I went, "Whoa, that's like, hello.
Up your alley."
And I go, "That's fantastic. Your work is phenomenal. So do you have a writer?" And he goes, "No, I can't write. I don't have a writer." I went, "You got a writer." So I think that idea is just phenomenal, and your work is amazing. So then I went off and started. Okay, well, then I went to my publisher Firefly, which they're great. I worked with for many years, and I gave them the concept. They really liked it. They loved his work. I mean, as soon as they saw his work, oh, this is good. So we got the meeting, right? And but then we did the 36 days of refusal. It's in my contract, so they were able to look at it for that many days before I can go to anywhere else. And they did. They worked really hard on it, but then they said, "Yeah, I just don't get it. I can't see this selling about a kid going on a canoe trip and his anxiety being cured by being on a canoe trip." I went, really? Okay. And then I went to other people, like even Scholastic, which is one of the biggest. They looked at it. This is really good work. This is fantastic. So we had the meeting. That was really huge. In a week, actually, they actually had a meeting with us and saying that Cliff's work is amazing. Yeah, I just don't get the selling idea of a kid going off into nature and helping his anxiety. I went, really? And then a couple other publishers, and then I finally, didn't know. Well, I still don't know Cliff, but I didn't know Cliff. I went, Cliff, they're wrong. This thing will sell like hotcakes, and if it doesn't, we'll actually change the world. Okay, so you know what? I'm going to make that happen. I'm old enough, and I'm connected enough now in my life to actually make my 20th book, again a self-published book, and I've done it twice already. And I created Kevin Callan Books. And I dove into the well. So here we go. And then I decided to create a self-published book by print on demand. So I used Ingram Spark before, which is an American company. And at that time, when that happened, it was great, right? Because they did a good job. They did a great job. But I said to Cliff, I go, but we need to go to a designer and an editor and do it professionally. And he's young, and with all this, he goes, well, gosh, it looks okay now. I went, no. And so Kathy Fraser, an editor I worked with for many years, probably 30 years, and also Jill Steed, a designer that's amazing. I worked with her during the Boston Mills days with my old guidebooks. And they got involved, and yeah, we went from there. And that process takes a long time. And poor Cliff, like he just thought this would happen in a couple of months. I went, books don't happen in a couple of months. This is why people don't write books. And so he's learned a lot. I've learned a lot for the whole process. And then what happened was they started designing it and stuff like that. But then all of a sudden, the whole trade wars started happening when all of a sudden I was going to, and I thought, geez, I'm going to have to choose a Canadian print job. And I tried to, and the one, Reasons was possible, but they don't do print on demand. But there's another company that's similar to them, but they're on the Better Business Bureau, don't go near them. So I was like, well, I don't want to do that. So I went back to Ingram. It's funny. This is my first interview. I haven't told any of these stories to anybody except Christine. And what happened was I found out that the print job is not done in the United States. It's printed whatever country you order it. So if you're a Canadian and you order the book, it's printed in Winnipeg. So I go, oh, so it's just a PDF file that's from the United States. So I'm okay with that. So let's go for that. So if you ever want to, I'm just rambling here. So if you ever want to publish a book on your own, this is what happens. So we did that. And sure enough, there's a lot of things you got to, when you do a kid's book, you would think it'd be easy. It's only like 46 pages. And I just have to write the little text. It's done. No, I've never worked so hard in my life on a book because it has to be precise, right? And especially when you look at illustrations, like again, Cliff is amazing, but the shadows and the lighting has to be changed. And then I went to go on my speaking tour starting in late February. I went, the book needs to be out now, right? I'm speaking to over 10,000 people in the next month and a half, and it's not ready yet. And so I went, okay, just chill. I went for a walk in the woods, just chill. It all happened. And then so we did that, and finally we got it out. And then sure enough, Amazon's involved because I hate to say at the end of the day, I will do everything possible to get my book out into brick and mortar stores. And that's why I chose Ingram, that they believe in that too. Because you can actually print through Amazon as well, but I don't believe that. And but what happened with that was, it's like, okay, well, to do that, So you can tell I'm blabbing. I haven't talked to anybody for a while. And so what happened was, okay, we'll do that, and then we'll put it out, and then all of a sudden it's, thank goodness, a print on demand. You put it out, and sure enough, poor Cliff sends me a note one night. Yeah, I see the proof went through, and now it's for sale on Amazon for $75. I went, what? The book doesn't even exist. Like, and the only but anybody that knows the release date, that would be April 14th, is me and Ingham Spark. So nobody else knows about that. So why is someone on Amazon, a third party, selling it for $75 and saying its release date is April 14th? That's interesting. You try to solve that issue, because they're all like, oh, I don't know. Yeah, they know. So someone's paid someone to someone to someone. And everybody's in a panic because someone has stolen my book. For 2 years of work, some scumbag company that actually would not even sell you the book. Like, you will buy that book for $75. You will never, ever get it. It doesn't exist.
Oh, no.
Right? So, of course, how to stop that? Contact Ingram. Of course, you have to wait for them to respond. Contact Amazon. And they're like, well, it's a third party. We can't do anything about it. That they're allowed to do that. I went, what do you mean they're allowed to do that? That's illegal. That's called copyright infringement. Well, you're going to have to get a lawyer and have to prove that actually that's your book. And so I went to get a lawyer, it's thousands of dollars. I went, you kidding me? And then I again went for a walk in the woods and said, nobody in the right mind is going to buy that book for $75. And then I actually went on social media, and my fans, they went nuts on this company. It was magical. Instead of me saying, you can't do this, all these people saying, you're corrupt, whatever, and they shut it down because they look bad. So thank you for all the people that did that. And actually, the one person that did really well, what's the dragonfly guy? The guy that has the dragonfly thing in the head like that? No? The company. What's it called? Christine, what's the company called with the dragonfly in his head?
Not Lee Valley.
Yeah, the company that has the dragonfly floating on your hat. Wingman. Wingman. Thanks. Wingman, he deals with this all the time. His
Christine.
Hello. They sent a note, and it was shut down. So all the people saying they can't do anything, it was shut down because they got caught, right? With the hand in the candy jar.
How do they get all that information?
Where
do they get it from? Like, it has to come from the publisher, maybe? Whoever.
I don't know.
That's creepy, man.
Yeah,
that's creepy.
So,
sorry to interrupt.
Let's just say print on demand and self-publishing is fantastic in one sense, and I'll go over the goods of it. The bads is, if I had a real publisher and that happened, their lawyers would go after them. Where now I'm the publisher with no money, and I couldn't go after them, right? Because I could, but I don't know. Anyway, at the same time, I wrote a book with Cliff about a high anxiety, right? How ironic is that? And the good thing is that why did they try to steal it? I think that's important. Let's go back to that. Why did they try? I go to Cliff. That must mean it's a gosh darn good book that will sell really well, or they would never have stole it, right? If it was something boring, they wouldn't try and steal it, right? So let's ride the storm. Just like on a canoe trip, or let's do the portage, get it done, and then go on from that. So everything seems to be fine. The only thing right now is Amazon Canada has it now for sale. They posted it for $28 something, and it's a $19.95 book. And when I put it in, I made every country to sell it for $19.95. But they'll boost the price, and you can't stop that. So what I did is I contacted Tim at Canadian Outdoor Equipment. I said, I'd rather people buy the book off you than Amazon. I'm not knocking Amazon. I'll probably make more money off Amazon worldwide for this book than everything. But be quite honest, like, how can I fix this? So he said, yeah. And today he actually put it on his website for sale for $19.95. So you can buy that book in Canada for the right price, not Amazon. So that's a tough one, though, eh? Like, you try to do everything right. At the same time, I'm not a fool. I'll make more money off Amazon. So. Oh, I'm exhausted. Christine, was that okay? Way to go, Kevin. Hurry.
Thanks, honey. Yeah, I'm surprised. You mentioned that Scholastic. You went and had a yak with them, and they went we don't see it working. I'm like, it hits me as it's a teaching thing. It's an inclusive thing because there are kids with anxiety. If this is if it's a tool to help, it's been a while since I've been in school and buying scholastic books, but that's kind of what they were doing for us before.
Well, here's the thing. So I wonder that too, but then I asked a lot of friends in the business and also librarians and teachers, and they said, here's the interesting thing. There's not a lot of books on mental health with kids. There's a few. There's some other unique books out there that talk about other things, but nothing. They couldn't find one book that really specifically talks about a canoe route or canoe trip helping anxiety. And therefore, if I was scholastic and I was a business person, they would do that search as well. And therefore, they would say, well, there's nothing out there. Why would we do this? Why would we invest in this? And but I know in my lifetime and my people I know and everything else, they're begging for this book. Like if you look at it, basically the book is based on Paul, and he goes on a trip with his Uncle Roy. And Uncle Roy is not Uncle Roy is not Kevin. Uncle Roy is just a uncle that actually wants to take him canoeing. He doesn't really want to teach him anything. He just wants him to experience it. So it's just this figure of Uncle Roy saying, "Oh, geez, Paul, I think you should go on a canoe trip." And we have so many Uncle Roys in our life, right? They don't know why Paul should go. They just think that Paul should go. And then Paul, he said, "Okay, like no, my phone won't work. I'm worried about bears." And then also throughout the book, there's little tidbits of information about what gear they brought, how to classify rapids. So it's that Kevin Happy Camper sort of tips and tricks because it's made for ages 6 to 12, right? So if you're thinking if you're a scout leader, if you're someone from Palo Canada, if you're a parent or guardian of some kid that wants to show them the tips and tricks but not overwhelm them. Yeah. So then Paul goes on the trip and he's not liking it at all. And typical, Roy, Uncle Roy is fishing and Paul's doing all the work. We've seen that before. And it rains and all the misadventures happen along the way. You look at, poor Paul is not liking the bugs in the Portage. And then Uncle Roy's like, "What's your problem? Didn't you bring your bug spray?" And I won't go through the whole book. Oh, I love this part. And then they're on the Portage, and I have a bunch of etiquette signs on the Portage. And the one is no pooping
on the Portage.
And I had some people read this beforehand and a little drier humor than I have. And they're like, "Yeah, that's not proper. You should not put that no pooping on the Portage." So I go, "Do you know kids?"
Yes.
That's the first thing they're going to laugh at.
They are going to find it hilarious.
Jude, Christine's grandson, he's like 3 going on 4. And I show him this page. And it was like finding Waldo, right? Like, okay, show me the gear. And I said, "Where's the toilet paper?" Boom. He found the toilet paper. So, yeah. But it goes on to, they have this adventure and they go through etiquettes. And all of a sudden, they don't hang the food proper. That whole debate. There's a whole bunch of hidden messages in this book, actually, because I'm a little weird. And the animals get to the food. And but also what's happening is Uncle Roy is not teaching him. It's the animal creatures that are teaching the tips and tricks without the kid knowing, or without the uncle knowing. It's all subconscious, right? But they're helping the humans along because they're like, this is our home and you don't feel that you belong in the home, and we're going to show you the tips and tricks. By halfway through the book, the kid is loving it. He's cooking breakfast and Uncle Roy's asleep. Then by the end, Paul's like, "I love this. I don't want to go home." And during the time too, he also meets a whole bunch of camp kids, and he's wondering why they're having so much fun. And then he realizes it's because they're all immersed in that wilderness. They're enjoying their surroundings where he's trying to conquer or defend himself for it. And it's all based on that. And then at the end, last page, I shouldn't even show you the last page, I guess, but the deep meaning is that, they are leaving, and they're the creatures saying, "See you later, see you next year." So it's the animal creatures that are teaching humans, chill, man. Yeah.
Well, and agreed. Like, even if you're not a high anxiety person, I can tell you, we've 5 years in, we've had a number of discussions with all kinds of people about camping in general, but certainly my jam is jumping in a canoe and going far away. Within a couple of days, like, you're I'm sure blood pressure's down. I don't actually check it. I know my BPM is lower. I know that I'm breathing better. I'm chill, and I'm not. I can be a little bit wound sometimes, but I'm not. I'm certainly. I don't think I'm high anxiety about anything, and yet it jumping in a canoe and having that experience, that nature experience, makes me totally chill, and I hear that from all kinds of people, so that makes sense, man.
Well, it makes total sense to everybody, to be quite honest, especially in our field, in our community. And I think it's good. It's good for the soul to sort of say, you're wrong, and I'll do it myself. Like I've been around this world so many times. I know what's right, and and I know also. And poor Cliff. When I first met him, I went, we need to talk about a few things. First of all, there's no money to be made in riding in Canada for the outdoors. So, okay, Kevin, yeah. So why do you want to write this book? And he said the same thing. He's high anxiety too. Well, I'm guessing, knowing him, and he just wanted to make a difference. He's married with a small kid, and he's worried about the future of the world, worried about wilderness. He loves Temagami, worried about Temagami, and he wanted to do something. And tonight, just after or just before this interview, I talked to him and showed him the book because he hasn't got it yet. And yeah, that's his carrot. That we did this, Kevin. This is fantastic, and teachers are going to buy it. Scouts are going to buy it. Like just granddads and grandmas are going to buy it, right? So it's kind of cool. But it was so funny. I said, "So here's the monies we put out, and this is how long it will take for us to get monies back." Yeah. And he's all fine with that. So, yeah.
No, I think it's an awesome message, and I think it is something. Like, there's a lot of mental health issues for kids, especially in that age range, especially with all that's going on with social media and pressure from parents in school. And I think it's great to have some outlet like that, and encourage them to have that outlet.
Yeah, I've seen this because I've taught for years, but the last couple decades, I've taught youth at risk, right? And we just have to take them in the woods for a long period of time, and they become who they are. It's magical, right? And that's Paul. Like, the one thing about that canoe trip, the first few days, he still did not he didn't want to be out there. And I've seen that. But once he got the skills set and felt more comfortable and laughing at things at the end, we all dealt with that. At the end, you don't want to go home. Oh, you can't wait till your next trip. Why? Because the portages are bad, the bugs are bad, there's bears out there, of course, comical. But yeah, at the end, those fears were gone away because it became his day-to-day life to be out there with his uncle. And the uncle portrayed he didn't care because he'd been out there for a long time. So he's not the teacher. He's just the awareness of, what's your problem? Like, what's your problem? I'm comfortable out here. You should be as well. And that's where the uncle was. At first, when we were writing the book, I was going to be the uncle and I was going to be the teacher and everything else. And both Cliff and I said, yeah, I know that's so typical. Like, they can see that coming a mile away. Now, mind you, you will see me in the book. I won't tell you where it is, but you'll see me. So find Waldo. I'm in there.
How old is Paul in the book?
So 12, maybe 13, maybe going on 14. And it's tough to write a kid's book because you really do have to get the age set, because when you go to Indigo and sell your books, they're in rows of age. So I learned so much writing a kid's book. It's a lot easier writing a guidebook. But yeah, you have to make a certain age. And then we tested it with youth. So youth would read it, and then we would judge who got it and who didn't. And that's where we came down to 6 years old to 12-year-old to, was it, how old are you when you are in grade? Oh, now I forget the age. Christine? What age was it? Age 6 to 12 and then grade? Oh, hey, it's on the back of the book. No, it's not. Young kids, but not kindergarten.
Yeah, so grade
and,
1
and
to
not
grade.
and not grade 9. They're too cool. Even though they'll read the book, it's not cool for them.
Well, what was, yes, 15-ish for grade 9. So
Yeah, right.
So up to middle school, I guess.
You know what? The book is written for everybody.
Well, and that's the thing is that one of the things when I heard, because we've talked about it in bits and pieces over the course of a couple of years, I thought that'd be an interesting book. Like, I'm going to buy it for myself, and I will probably read it, give it to, there's parents in the building that have younger kids, and I'll probably end up donating it to them to read it to their kids, because their kids, they're kind of outdoor friendly type, like they like to do that sort of jazz. So, why not, right? But I'm going to read it myself first.
That's good. I actually read it out loud this morning to myself, because you work so hard on something for so long, you lose. And it's a good storyline. It really is. It will sort of get everybody engrossed in it, and then what's going to happen at the end. Yeah, there's even a moose wearing a PFD, because that's important.
We like that message too.
Yeah. I even have a recipe for Gorf in there. So there they are doing rapids, right? And there's the moose showing that you have to wear PFD. And then, of course, Paul's nervous about running the rapids. He's like, "Oh gosh, why are we doing this?" And there they are. Oh no, what if we dump? What if we do this? What if we, right? And then they do that, and of course, you have the classifications of the rapids too. So it's all the information as well along the way. And then they do that, and then Paul's like, "Let's do that again. Yeah. Let's do it again. I think I peed myself because I was so nervous, but let's do it again."
That's excellent. That's excellent. All right, so you wanted to have it out before your previous tour that you literally just finished, right?
Yeah.
But you didn't. So are you doing a book tour, an abbreviated, I assume?
Yeah, I'm going to do some signings. So Canadian Outdoor Equipment is going to do the launch, because, at least I know Tim, and I said, look, I don't know when this is coming out, and I had to get this copy to prove it yesterday too. Like, the book wasn't coming out until I actually saw this and said, okay, well, no, it's not done proper. And then finally it did, and then he's like, come on, Kevin, come on. And so I said, yeah, let's do it. So May 4th at his store. You can go there and get books signed, and Cliff's going to be there as well, which is really important to me for him to be there. And then the other is I'm going to do a bunch of libraries and a bunch of other things afterwards. The only problem is that's my canoeing time, and I was going to do a huge solo trip for brook trout the first week in May, and it's probably going to be a 3-night now because I'm going to be on the road. But the book is more important. Well, you know what? Is it more important than brook trout? No. But
find that balance. Do it. Do a book. Hit a library. Go spend 3 days. Hit another library. 3 more days.
I always even said to Christina, so I'll do a tour and then sleep in the car, or sleep with my mom's or my sister's, whatever. And I do want to go more towards where Cliff lives. He lives in southwestern Ontario, because this is his first book, right? And I really want to make sure that we emphasize around his area. Because I remember that. I remember my first book. He deserves everything for that. Yeah, so that'd be fun. So I will post that for sure on social media. It's all in the works. I just have to sort of, the next couple of days, yes, this is happening. I do know I'm speaking at the Marmor Library on April 23rd. I don't know if I'll have books there. In theory, I'll have books there, but I decided I won't speak on the book. I'll speak on the Pasquay trip, because I know I can do that. But in theory, I should have books there. But I'll let everybody know the day before if they arrive. But yeah, I'm blabbing.
No. Yeah. So make sure that listeners, you didn't get to see the pretty pictures unless you're watching this on YouTube. So go watch us on YouTube for starters. Second, check out Kevin's all Kevin's social media. He's on Facebook, Instagram. What else? Oh, you do fireside chats and all that sort of jazz on YouTube as well, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I love the fireside chats. In fact, actually, well, you'll be on after the fact, but next week I'm doing a whiskey chat with Robbie Brown. Do you know him, the musician from Thunder Bay?
No, the name rings a bell, but I'm drawing a blank.
Okay, well, he's famous, and he sings all about the North and canoeing. And one of his favorites, my favorite songs, is about the Wendell Beckwith. No, not Wendell. Sorry, the White Otter Castle up north. He has a song on that, and Black Spruce. And so, I mean, to be quite honest, the whiskey chats I do, musicians don't get a lot of attention when I do interviews with them, but I love it. I love it. Like, yeah, the musicians I've interviewed is phenomenal, and it's a bust too, because for monetization, because the moment they sing, YouTube goes, well, there goes monetization. But I don't care. Like I don't make a lot of money off YouTube. I don't care. But to interview Robbie and Ian Tamlin, when I interviewed him, oh man, if you haven't seen it, go back and watch that interview. The guy is amazing, right? Yeah. I had to reflect the other day when during the COVID breakdown or lockdown, whatever, I was on my own and everybody else was on their own. And I interviewed a lot of people. If you go back to the amount of people I interviewed during then, like it was amazing.
Just because it was all had to do Zoom and virtual.
Nobody had to do anything else. So
yeah,
you could just zoom in. Yep.
So what else have you got planned for trips this year?
A lot of trips. I'm going back to Quebec. Christine and I love Quebec when we went to do Lake Kippawa last year. And so we're going in June. We're going to another park. I can't pronounce it. I don't think I would yell at Christine to ask, but I don't think she knows how to pronounce it. But it's north of that. So we're going back. We loved it. Lake Kippawa was amazing. Quebec's amazing. Culture is amazing. People are amazing. Yeah. And Heartbeat, we're going back. And I am doing my Algonquin spring trip, but it's not until the end of May. I could curse my buddy Ashley for almost 30 years. Every single year we'd be going for Mother's Day week, right? For Algonquin Brook Trout. And the last couple of years, I'm going on a holiday and we're going to Brazil. And I went, why? Like what? So then we have to go to the end of May, and we did that last year and caught no fish. We did the year before, we caught no fish because we're there to end. I mean, you think the end of May would be good, but it's not. You have to be there in early May. So anyway, we're still going on the trip because we're having fun. The cool thing is, so Mike Kip's son can't go this year, so we needed an extra person. So I asked Christine's son, Jesse, to go. And of course, Christine's like, has no idea what he's getting himself into. No, he doesn't know these guys. Is Ashley going to bring his Speedo? Almost likely. So we'll see how that goes. So that'd be fun. And then Andy and I are planning a trip. We're having a meeting the next couple of days. He has some ideas. I have some ideas. I actually said he wanted to do another surprise trip, and I finally had to say to him, my God, cannot handle that. I cannot handle that again. Maybe when we're 70, you can do that as for fun, but I cannot do that again for my anxiety level. So let's talk about a route, and you can choose the route. I don't have to choose the route, but I can't. And this is a personal thing, but my anxiety cannot handle going off in the far north, not knowing where we're going, and then getting into trouble. Right? If you watch that video, there's a lot of. I broke down on that trip. You imagine being on that trip where there's forest fires all around you. You're actually 250 kilometers away from everybody. The float plane is a 2.5 hour flight, and there's no way the plane can land in those ponds even to get you. And we actually traveled like 6 days. We traveled 4 kilometers to cut our way through the bush.
I know those portages or lack of portages were brutal, man.
No, I'm not doing that again. I people say, well, how do you survive out there? Because I'm not. My mom always says, she's Scottish. Just didn't be stupid.
Okay, Mom. Good advice.
Yeah. Well, she's right. Yeah. So anyway, love Andy to death, and I think it was a great idea what he did. It's just a personal thing. My anxiety, as you probably could tell in the video, was super high. And how I got through personally is bush time. I actually knew I could get through. Like, Christine said that to me yesterday. Well, you knew you'd be fine. I mean, it's not your first rodeo. Yeah, and she's right actually. I sort of, there's a certain part of the trip I go, well, I know how to cut bush, I know how to camp, I know how to canoe, even though I'm old and I'm sore. And then my brain kicked in and my body just gave away, because it's like, you forgot about the hurt until you got home, and then you really hurt, right? But when my knee went under the canoe and just bent out, like I was just high on meds the entire trip. So until I got home. So
Yeah, good fun. I know all about bodies bailing out on you mid portage, but thankfully I tandem and make sure that I bring along a very tall, strong kid.
Yeah.
That can carry the stuff.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Yeah.
Is the book available for pre-sale? I know it's this will air on the 21st of April, so the book will already have been out for 1 week. I will do a short at some point. Is there a pre-sale thing?
Yeah, the pre-sale is actually now. You can order it right now, which is whatever day this is. It's like 2 weeks from the date you're saying. It's released on April 14th, so that means actually it has to get printed. So that takes a good 5 days. So you're not going to get the book the next day,
Right.
but it's allowed to be printed. And that's just the thing I did. I said, look, you're not putting this book out without me having a look at it. Like I can look at it on PDF file on the computer, and the printer says this is okay. And yeah, so yeah, it's, some people are saying, well, it's not hardcover. It should be hardcover. It's too soft, whatever. Well, it all depends. Like it's glossy cover and matte finish, whatever. And I chose all those because the designer, Jill, I've known for years. She goes, well, this is what you want to get for the money. And for example, this is one of my favorite kids books. If you haven't got this, get this. And the guy's amazing. He's got all 4 seasons of a trip, all in his artwork. And that's incredible. But it's hardcover with actually a dust cover. It costs you a fortune. Like you'd have to go through a publisher for that. Like I couldn't afford to do that. So we did the soft cover, which actually a lot of kids' books, majority of them are like this nowadays, especially for a story like that. So it comes down to, Kevin Callan Books doesn't have the money to do something that's thousands and thousands of dollars. So yeah, for self-publishing, for the advantages of it. So if let's start with the disadvantages. If you're self-published, some people would say, well, you're not a real writer if you're self-published, because anybody could be self-published. And that's true. Actually, anybody could actually go to one of those printing companies and actually do their own book. Sandy Moda at CBC Radio, Farley Moda's son. I wouldn't, I don't know him because of Farley Moda. I just know him as Sandy. He's a good friend of mine. And he goes, Kevin, like, you don't have to worry about that. You have, this is your 20th book. You've already proven yourself. So he goes, but your publisher, I make 8% royalty on all my other books, my guidebooks, 8%. And then I have to wait for that royalty if I get it, right? Because everybody's all, you're going to get paid. If I self-publish, if I sell it myself and actually sell it at a book signing, I get 70% royalty. There's a huge difference.
Big time.
Right? And I do all the work. Like a publisher, in theory, in the old days, did all the work. They did marketing, they did distribution, and they did. But really, who goes to all the shows? Do you see my publisher at those shows when you're with me? No. Distribution, how did those folks get there? I ordered them, right? So Sandy goes, well, do it. And then, so the last 2 books, the Once Around Algonquin and also the Another Bend in the River, was self-published. And yeah, I didn't sell as many, but actually I made money, right? But you have to invest in it. You have to do it proper. And here's the thing that everybody should know for self-publishing. You have to do it proper. You don't get your grandmother or your mother to edit, unless they're editor. But you don't get them to do it. You need a professional. And Kathy Fraser and Jill Seed actually did that. And I know them. And yes, that cost me money. And I told Cliff, like, we have to invest money. And then that made a huge difference because we thought all the spelling mistakes were done, and we gave it to Kathy. She found 43 of them. Right. So you do that, but at the end of the time, it's still a lot of work. And that means now the book is out, and now we still have to go on the road and promote it. But if a store sells it, like Canadian Outdoor Equipment or Amazon, I make 40%, not 8%. So I still make more. Right. It's one of those things that's yin and yang, right?
Yep. Does Cliff go on the tour with you, like on the road for any of these?
He is doing some. He's got a family, young kid. He also is. I shouldn't tell you. Well, he'll tell you he's very nervous. He showed up at the Hamilton show and saw me talking to everybody, and then I talked to him that night. And he goes, "Yeah, no." But he will be there. He will be there for some the good solid ones too. And I don't expect him to be quite honest. I'm so hyper. I don't expect him to keep up with me. Yeah, he's good at what he does, illustration, and I'm good at what I do. So yeah. It's so funny to see him at the Hamilton show. I was talking to people, and I had a lot of people, and then I saw him to my left, and I felt bad because I couldn't talk to him because I was talking. And then I phoned him, and he goes, "No, Kevin, I'm not doing that, man." Which is fine because we're all different, right?
We are. I can do this, but to stand in front of a crowd of people, I would just be a big thing of sweat and melty goo on the stage. I can't do it. Yeah, I can't do it.
Deer in the headlights. He'd be.
Here I'll tell you a story just to finish this off for enlightenment for everybody. So Evan's traversing show at the Canoe Museum,
right?
Last week, but it won't be last week when we're talking about. But yeah, he needed one more presenter and didn't know who. And I said Chris Prouse for the Meanest Link, right? And he goes, "Really? Like, would she even talk?" I went, "I don't know. Like, she's never presented before, but I know her really quite well. She actually lives down the road."
Yeah.
So we communicated, and she was hesitant, and she called me, and we had a really good talk on the phone. And I said, "Well, I really think you'll do an amazing job. Like, you have no problems presenting, even though you never presented before. But what do you will present on?" And so, if you haven't seen it, go to Evan has the feed that he did online as well, and now he posts that so you can watch her presentation. Blew everybody away. It's the best presentation. I shouldn't say that, but I'm saying it right now. It's the best presentation the entire day, right? Because she showed this is what people, that being some men, thought of us, that her and Julia being online, and she showed comments made about they should be home in the kitchen. They don't belong out there and things like that. And that's why they disappeared. If you want to know why Chris Prouse disappeared off social media for a while, that's why. She said, "I'm done." And then that's why they did the Meanest Link, and then did the Meanest Link again, and then did it again, and did it again, and then kept beating the
previous records.
The record, and throw the mic down. Like, yeah, you might disagree with, what they do is they go as fast as possible, whatever. But she actually talked about that at the end as well, and saying, well, but that is what we do. That is our calmness. We're marathon people. Like, you don't have to do what we do, but this is what we do. And she explained it really quite well. And you could tell she was nervous for the first 2 minutes. And after that, she held the floor. And I got to say, man, that was awesome. So being nervous, you could say, like, look, you read my memoir. I was I'm still a nervous person, but to go from not even to speak a word in high school with a stuttering impediment to actually doing all these shows now. Why? It's motivation to make a change in life, to make a change in wilderness protection. And if I have to do that to get on stage, I'll do it. But when I get home, Christine, am I quiet when I get home? Oh, I just woke her up.
All right. Well, we're going to let you go get in heck for that. Okay.
That's it for us for today. Thank you so much to Kevin Callan. Please check him out. He's on Instagram, YouTube, all the things as KC Happy Camper, right?
Yes.
Yes. So check him out. Please do check out A Spark of Courage, Kevin Callan's new book, children's book. We'll be ordering one for ourselves. And please do check us out while you're on all the things. Please do email us. We're at hi@supergoodcamping.com. That's hi@supergoodcamping.com. We'll talk to you again soon. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.